All right, good morning, everyone. The big news in the EV front over the past couple of days was that on last Friday, Tesla made some huge price drops across their entire lineup. The biggest being the Model Y. The Model Y long range is now $52,990. This is down from $65,990. So that's a drop of $13,000. Now, on top of that, until March, because the battery requirements, the mineral requirements, and the component requirements are not in effect until at least March of 2023, any car with final assembly in the United States or North America, I think, qualifies for the 7,500 federal tax rebate. So if you have a tax liability of at least 7,500, which I would think you would have if you can afford a car of this price, then this essentially becomes close to a $45,000 vehicle, which is a pretty good deal. Okay, so why are they doing this? I think some people have suspected that this might be coming down the pipeline, but I don't think anyone expected it to be this much. We know that in China, they've been slashing prices on the Model 3 and Model Y. They did it once back in October, and they did it again in early January because there's a lot of competition in China from BYD and other Chinese car manufacturers. So China was kind of the premium, excuse me, Tesla was the premium EV model. Just like it is in the United States. In the United States, Tesla is thought as a premium brand, and people are willing to pay more for Tesla for its cachet and also for its supercharger network. And people just perceive it to be um, a better EV than other EVs, which may or may not be true anymore, but people are definitely were willing to pay extra for it. But however, sales have been growing and they didn't meet Wall Street expectations in the last quarter. And what happened was for a while, for the past 2 years, it was crazy because you could get a Tesla and you could flip it on the used market and pay and sell it for more than you bought it for because there was long waits. So demand outstripped supply, and so people who weren't wanting to wait were willing to pay extra for Teslas. But it's popped, and people are no longer willing to do that. And because of that, they started discounting, doing small like temporary discounts, like basically a sale in early December. But now they've gone, this isn't a sale, this is their new price. They're not saying that this is a temporary sale. They've dropped the price quite a bit. And it makes it so that um, I think it's going to put a lot of downward pressure on prices across the board. For example, the car that I would have cross-shopped a Model Y with would be the Hyundai Ioniq. So Hyundai Ioniq is a great vehicle, got great reviews. People really like it. Has a lot of nice features and generally has positive impressions of this vehicle. So it's very similar in size to the Model Y. It's a small SUV. And then if you look at it, the lowest model is 41,400, but this is a 220-mile range car. So that's not really comparable to the Model Y, which is a 330-mile range all-wheel drive. So if you go back, then you go to the next model right here. So this SC is a base trim with a 303-mile electric range. Let's build this out. Okay, we'll keep the color. I mean, I don't think the color affects the price. Oh, I guess making it white affects the price. Okay, so black is the cheapest color. We'll keep it the cheapest color, and then we'll keep this the thing. Okay, so to make it comparable, you would have to change the drivetrain to the all-wheel drive. And then this is the base model. Doesn't have a lot of features, but maybe would be similar to the base long range base Model Y. But this is $50,000. Okay, so that's $50,000. Now the Ioniq does not get the 7,500 tax rebate because final assembly does not happen in the United States. So that would be your price. So before, when the Model Y was basically $66,000, then you take the $7,500 off of it, it'd be like upper 80s, like $58,000. So by going with the Hyundai, you would save $8,000, and people would be like, okay, yeah. And then some people would be like, well, Tesla has the better charging network. It's a more premium brand. I'm going to pay the 8,000 for the Model Y. But now, because of this, Tesla is actually cheaper. It's about $5,000 cheaper than the equivalent Ioniq 5. And at that point, it becomes pretty hard for a lot of people to say that they're going to buy an Ioniq 5 over the Model Y. So I think that is what's happening right now. And they've done price drops across the board. So the base Model 3 has dropped a little bit, 3,000. So 46 to 43, and then the performance went from 63 to 53,900. So that's an important drop if you're wanting a Model 3 performance, because when the price is above $55,000, you would not get the tax rebate. So the vehicle had to cost less than $55,000. So the performance would not have made the cut. And then, there was a lot of like Elon was talking about on Twitter how it was not fair that the Model Y was not being classified as an SUV, because if you're an SUV, it could cost up to $80,000 and you would still qualify for the tax rebate. So the Model Y was not being classified as SUV, and so its prices were above $55,000, so they did not qualify for the tax rebate. So the people that bought it before are getting like they're losing out on like $20,000, because if you bought it at $66,000, it did not qualify for the tax rebate. But now that they've dropped it to under 55,000, it qualifies for the tax rebate, and it's $13,000 less. And then the Model Y Performance goes from 69 to 56. Now that does not qualify for the tax rebate. And then the Model S and the Model X are just too expensive to qualify for the tax rebate. So those, while these were cut, 15% and 9% and 14%, they don't qualify for the tax rebate. So you don't get any additional price breaks for those. So that's why a bunch of people are pretty angry, and I understand their anger, because if they could have waited a little bit, they could have gotten basically over $20,000 off the car, which is nothing to sneeze at. Especially so, the biggest price drop is the Model Y. So I think that would be the vehicle to get if you were in the market for a Tesla. But they're feeling duped. I believe that if you've ordered a Tesla and you haven't taken delivery yet, you can get the new price. But if you've taken delivery, you paid for the car, then you're done. And I do feel bad for them, and I can see why they're angry. But of course, that's just the way life is. You can't predict the future. If you buy a house and the housing value goes way up, then you're happy about it. The housing value goes down, then you're kind of sad about it. The people that bought the Teslas before the Tesla raised their prices, I'm sure they felt happy about that. So you can't predict which way the prices will go. If they would have known, obviously, um, they would have waited. And Tesla's not going to announce that they're going to have a big price cut, or else no one's going to buy their cars. They'll just wait it out. So I think that this puts a lot of downward pressure on prices. And so I think it's going to be very difficult for Aptera to raise prices significantly, because when there's downward pressure across the board, starting with basically the most dominant player in America in the EV space, when Tesla drops prices, I think other people are going to have to respond with price drops, or at least not increase their prices at the bare minimum. And it's going to be very hard for Aptera to sell vehicles if they increase their price significantly, I think. So that is something to watch out for. All right, well, tell me what you guys think. Because of the massive price drop on the Model Y and other Teslas, is that something you're thinking about doing? Or did any of you guys buy a Tesla recently? I'm sorry. Um, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks as always to our supporting members, and have a great day.